I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. That money. Man who was the first person to jump on the chance to be one of the upcoming 3 co-hosts that I'm going to have over the next few weeks leading on the road to WrestleMania here on the Smart Guy Show. Ladies and gentlemen, here with me live tonight is Ethan Ralph. Ethan, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'd like to thank you for being on the show and for being a professional about it. You were very eager because a couple weeks ago, as everyone knows, I gave the former host of this show the boot for very good reason. And
he weighs a lot more than me, by the way. He weighs 800 pounds. You know, I'm down to 175. So I apologize. Maybe, some people are shocked by the weight differential in between there. But yeah, you gave him the boot, and it seemed like to me that made him the most angry that you actually cut him off first. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You can weigh in if you want.
There are people who like to feel like they're in positions of power, and when they have the rug pulled out from under them because they thought they were in power, that's truly when things snap for them. And that's exactly what happened. That's why the reaction happened the way that it did. That's why that they're going so hard on me, because they realize that I took control of the situation, which they don't like, and they can't handle it. But anyway, after his behavior, not only on this show, but on his own show, I gave him the boo. And I didn't really know what to do with this show because this was a co-op commentary show. I could do it myself. Sure. Everyone knows that I can run a ship. I've done it for 17 years, pretty much solo. But co-op commentary is always better than just one person yapping. And I thought, maybe I will entertain having some co-hosts. And then you spoke up. In fact, before I even had publicly announced that I was looking for co-hosts, you threw your hat into the ring with a post over on X. Now, I'm curious, Ethan, why was it that you were so eager to jump in and make yourself a candidate?
Well, for one, first off, I hate Ashton Parks. I mean, let's just be real. I think he's a scumbag, and he always has been a scumbag. His whole career is built off a lie off me getting him kicked out of his church, which never happened, by the way. Huh. He's admitted that never happened. So, I have a personal grudge. I don't want to sit here and lie in front. But also, I feel like, and this is going to not win me any friends, by the way, but I feel like you get a bad rap, honestly. I can understand people hating me a lot more than they hate you, right? It's like, what has Phil really done to earn this level of just psychotic? Let's allegedly hack into his accounts. Let's fuck with his life. Let's attack his wife. Let's try to fuck up his relationships and do all this. I feel like it's always been unfair. You've never made anyone support you. Of course, the King of Hate. I've watched your show a lot recently, and I'm envious of the King of Hate title. I want that title, honestly. The King of Hate title. I love that. Now, but I know you have tried to go in a different direction, and I don't want to be that guy anymore, and I want to be more positive and this and that. I want to be the King of Hate. That's what I want to be. And so I was a little jealous of that too, but it's also like, what has this guy really done to deserve this type of enmity? From people who have no lives. They're complete fucking losers. They stalk your every move. Sure, every once in a while you talk trash to a weirdo in chat or whatever, but what have you really done to deserve what they give you? That's my opinion. I've always said that for years and years. Now, we did have that one little beef when you went on the casino, because they were trying to set us up against each other. And now I saw it very quickly, because I was like, oh, they just want their content. They want us to fight. And so they can make their own money. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I just left it alone. But I've never had any problem with you. And so I was eager to have this coalition, not even coalition, but just I won't say clash, but commiseration happened here on stream. And so, when I saw the position was open because 800-pound Ashton Parks can't fucking walk further than 20 feet at a distance, and he was really angry when you cut him off. And so, he was born in 1996. I was born in 1985. I hate to give my age away, but I lived through the Attitude Era, through the great times of wrestling, and I know all. I won't say all the history of wrestling, but a lot of it. And so this guy's a poser and a freak and a fraud. And so I thought maybe this is my ego. I don't know that I would be a good fill-in for him.
Well, here's the truth, Ethan, is that I have been doing this for 17 years, and I've seen it all. I've seen the highs and lows. I've seen YouTube change over the years and become a completely different thing today than it ever was back in the day. I can easily do drama content. I'm good at it. If I get pissed at someone, I could easily tear them a new asshole. It's not a big deal. But to me, that's like, I just don't like that content. And everyone's different. Maybe you like that content. I know those guys like that content. And that's fine. If people like that style of content, more power to you to enjoy it. But the problem with the situation was that they were actually trying to control me and turn me into something that they knew I didn't want to be. Told them time and again, I'll be a part of your show. We can do some drama, but I don't want that to be the end all be all of who I am. I've been doing this for 17 years. I have a fan base of thousands of people who like me for gaming, for podcasting, for chill vibes, not because I'm some hateful guy who's, arguing with people constantly on the internet. They didn't want to hear that because all they know how to do is make drama. So when I basically said enough is enough, no more drama, they didn't like that. And that was the end of it because I decided to end it. So yeah, I do think that's why it blew up the way it did. But as you've seen in my content, I really don't care about those guys. I'm not watching their stuff. I don't even know what they're saying or doing in regards to me. I don't give a shit. And I'm happy that there are people who are excited to be part of positive content. For example, we've got you this week. We do have 2 other guests lined up for the next 2 weeks leading up to WrestleMania. Sure. People who are very interested in actually doing legit wrestling commentary. And that's a good thing. Now, what we should do is actually talk a little bit about you and your history with wrestling, because some people are under the impression the only reason that you were interested in being on this show was drama. But that couldn't be further from the truth.
Totally false. I put out some pictures, obviously. I have a picture of me with the Macho Man when I was 12 years old. I don't know if you saw that. Kevin Steen, they call him Kevin Owens now. The Briscoe brothers, RIP to one of those guys. Tanahashi live at the Hilton Hotel, which is pretty famous there on the Avenue of Americas. WrestleCon 2019. I went to WrestleMania 35. I've been to probably, I would say about 100 or 150 live wrestling shows in my life.
Holy shit.
Yeah, a lot. And so, of it is, fuck this guy, right? But like, not you, him. But the other part is, no, I actually am kind of built for this, right? And so, when I hear his takes, and I didn't listen to a lot, I'm not gonna lie, but like what I did hear just sounded like a fat, overgrown baby who doesn't understand the business whatsoever and never drew a dime. To use a term from Mike Graham, who maybe some of the old heads will understand here in the chat. And so, yeah, I think I'm perfectly fit for that. Shout out to Jade Rasmussen as well. I've seen him in your chat. So, I thought I would be a good fill-in. And again, who knows? Maybe you like next week's guy or the week after more or whatever. Like, I won't hold it against you or anything like that.
In truth, but the whole idea for the show that I had was that it was going to be going from the Royal Rumble, well, actually to the relaunch of Raw, which happened back in January on Netflix, through WrestleMania. And I really wanted to see me coming back to pro wrestling after being away from it for so long, because I hadn't done this show in a decade. Who knows if my viewer base for this is gone, which a lot of them have. When you're not talking about something for a long time, those people tend to move on and probably went to watch other people who were doing wrestling podcasts and stuff. But it was an experiment. It was always going to be an experiment through WrestleMania to see how it goes. So what I'd like to do is give you and the next 2 hosts on a shot. Let's see how it goes. Let's see who clicks, who doesn't. And if I decide to extend the show and we say, hey, you know what, it went well, let's keep it going through WrestleMania, then I'll talk to all of you guys about maybe coming back. It might actually be a rotating group as well, where it's not always the same person, but we have a rotating group of co-hosts who come on from time to time for interesting events and things. I think that could be good too, depending on how it goes. So just so there's no misconceptions.
I completely agree, and I give you all props for giving me the first shot here. And I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, lived across the bridge in West Memphis, Arkansas. For those who don't know the territory system, we could get deep into wrestling if we want.
Way back in the day.
But basically, the last territory territory that stood was Memphis, Tennessee. And so that's where I'm from. Jerry the King Lawler, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett, Bill Dundee, all these people. That's where I'm from. So I have a really deep history with wrestling that some fake